My name is Jamie, or you could also call me She Likes THC like it says down there, but whatever you want though. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new, here I smoke weed, as you just saw me take that dab, legally and responsibly in the state of Nevada and in the comfort of my own home. I do not promote the use of cannabis or any other drugs whatsoever. My channel is only for information and education purposes. So as I mentioned, my channel does mostly contain cannabis content, but I do have some other content as well where I just rant and talk about life, and this is going to be one of those videos. So if any of you are consistent with my channel already, I apologize, but today is not going to be a smoking video per se. I did already take that dab in the beginning, and today is going to be more of a serious topic that we're talking about that is also controversial as well. So as you can tell from the title, today's video is going to be a little bit about police overusing their power and police brutality. Over the past week, as I'm sure you guys know, there has been a lot going on regarding the death of George Floyd. The life of George Floyd was sadly ended in Minneapolis by the police. So I just believe that a lot of us, including myself, are just really fed up with the way that the police takes advantage of their power that they have over us. A lot of us are just getting tired of hearing how common it is that a cop can get away with killing somebody because they have that kind of power over them. And that's why a lot of us have taken it to the streets to protest, and unfortunately some of them in Las Vegas have been getting violent. Nothing compared to what's happening in Minneapolis, but I believe there was some windows smashed in some federal buildings here. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about 3 specific encounters that I've personally had with police officers. So I've been pulled over by the cops 3 different times, and 2 out of those 3 times were not good experiences. So the very first time that I got pulled over was I was on my way to Marina, California, driving my brother's car because I was the one that was driving my sister, my brother, and my niece and my nephew. We just had to take a trip up to Marina just to get a few things from a Target, I remember. And I was driving my brother's car because it was bigger than mine. It could fit all of us in there. I just have a Mini Cooper. So we were on our way to Marina, and we were on the highway that gets you to the Target. And I was driving down. I believe I didn't feel like I was going too fast, but we passed by one of those speedometers that shows like how fast you're going on the freeway and what the limit is, all that. So I passed by one of those signs, and sure enough, there was a cop on a bike hiding behind it. So I believe I was going 65 in a 50 mile per hour, I think. And so then right away he turned on his lights and just followed me up the highway. So I had to pull over. I was really scared. It was my first time getting pulled over ever. And so the cop just came up to my window, and then he asked for my license and registration. I handed it over. Then he asked me, "Why were you going so fast, huh? Did you see me hiding behind that sign?" or something like that. I remember the "why were you going so fast, huh?" And then he asked me how fast I was going, and I said 65, and then he just started writing his stuff down. He was gonna give me a ticket. So while this was all happening, I was feeling really bad for my niece and nephew because I had them in the car, and my niece was like, "I thought we were gonna go to jail," when it was all over. So then the cop came back to the window, gave me the ticket, told me what I had to do, like go to do the driver's school again. And then before he left, he told me, "I hope you have a better day." Thanks. Okay, have a good one. And what's crazy about this particular situation was that it was the day after Christmas on the 26th. And my sister had also said that it was the end of the year and that they have to like give a specific number of tickets out in order to maintain their job, whatever, I don't care. And then once we got to the Target, I was still kind of shooken up over it still, but we noticed that he pulled over another car. So it definitely was because it was the end of the year, because why would you be pulling over so many cars right now? He's just that cop. So that was my first time getting pulled over. Whatever, fuck you. And so now I'll move on to the second time that I got pulled over, which was here in Vegas. I was at a meeting for the cannabis club that I was in earlier in my university days. And then I had to go to improv practice after, so I was on my way to improv practice. And at this time, I was driving a rental car because I was getting some work done with mine. So I was just driving down Desert Inn, which if you live in Vegas or have been in Vegas often and know that road, you know that it's just a really long road. And suddenly I had a cop behind me turning on his lights. So it's really weird. I was like right towards the like part where it breaks off into another road, and so I didn't know where to pull over, so it took me a minute to pull over. And then once I finally did, that cop, he came up to my window and he was like, didn't you see me trying to pull you over? So at first it was really weird. And then I told him, I'm sorry, I had to safely do it and I wanted to do it up here. And then he said, that's okay, ma'am. So he surprised me with that, and then he started acting pretty politely afterwards. He kept calling me ma'am. He was all like, let me go ahead and just see your license and any registration you have. So then I told him, and I had explained to him, oh, this is a rental car, but here you go. This is what I have. It was some paperwork that came with it. And then he was like, okay, thank you. It's just your headlights aren't on. So then he just went back. I don't know what he did. It only took him like a couple minutes, honestly. And then he came back and was like, here you go, ma'am. Gave me back my forms and also my ID. And was like, you have a good one, stay safe. And then I was on my way. So second experience was not bad at all. I actually kind of thought that Vegas cops were nice at some point, but every cop's different. It really wasn't until the third time that I really got traumatized by law enforcement in general. The third time I got pulled over by a cop, I was on my way to work. I was working at some stupid ass sandwich place. I don't even have the time or energy to talk about that. But I was on my way to work. And so I was driving down Paradise. Anyone that knows where Paradise is, there's a convention center there. And so CES was taking place and I was on my way to work, already running late. So I was going down Paradise, lots and lots of traffic. And then I started driving up to like where it's about to cross Desert Inn, because Desert Inn is where I would also take work. So it was in front of the convention center. I just see guys with vests on, I don't know. And I was stopped behind a taxi, and these guys in vests were just stopped where there's two left lanes on Desert Inn and Paradise. So then I am there behind the taxi, see this guy in vest just talking to the taxi, so I assume it's okay for me to go around the taxi into the farthest left turn lane, since as I mentioned, I do have a Mini Cooper and my car's small enough to make little turns like that. So I go ahead and go around the taxi into the furthest left lane. All of a sudden, I see a cop hit my back car, and I am freaked out. I mean freaked the fuck out. Like, what the fuck, dude? So I kept driving down because I saw cars and I thought it was okay. So I'm behind these row of cars. We're about to turn left onto Desert Inn. First, you go under this little bridge when you're first turning left from Paradise. So I'm driving and what do you know? A fucking cop is behind me. I'm in the middle lane, signal that I'm turning into the next lane, and he just goes right behind me. Then the lights come on. So I'm pulled over, my heart's beating, but I think, what is he gonna do to me? As soon as he comes up to my car, he yells, "What the hell is wrong with you?" Or it was either, "What the hell is your problem?" Something like that, but right away coming off as straight up aggressive. And he just keeps yelling, "Did you not see me?" Or something about traffic, I don't know. I was just freaked out and, you know, minutes away from crying at this point. And then just him yelling at me, I started getting my phone, recording him. He was like, yeah, I have a camera too. Who knows? Then he tells me, "How old are you? Can you even drive?" And then I said, "Yes, I can, officer. Here's my license. I know you're about to ask for it." And then he grabbed my license and went back to his car. And then it was at this time when I realized I had been recording on Snapchat, because I think I was just so freaked out. And so I pulled up the first camera that I could, and it was Snapchat instead of my actual like real camera on my phone. So then I went ahead and started recording on my actual phone camera, and like was yelling at him, "You don't have to tell me what the fuck is wrong with you when you pull me over," or some shit like that. But when I was actually recording was when he stopped being aggressive and like just was trying to gather information on me. I'll go ahead and show a video that I have from this to show you guys what I'm talking about. "Officer, am I good to go? This is my third time asking. Am I good to go? Because I gotta get to work."
What was that?
I said, "Am I good to go?"
Oh, you're not.
Just so you know, you don't have to yell in my face. What the fuck is wrong with you next time you pull someone over? Next time you pull someone over, you don't have to yell in their face, okay? I do think that the video that I have is in portrait mode rather than landscape, so I'll try to edit it in as best as I can. But I just remember being terrified for my life. So soon after I was done recording him, I went ahead and called my mom. And so since I was so freaked out, when I was calling my mom, thank God she answered. And so I had just been crying and telling her, "Mom, I'm so scared, I'm freaked out. This officer pulled me over and he's shouting at me. I'm freaked out." And she's like, "What?" And so then the officer came back to my car and then gave me back my license, my registration or insurance, whatever I had showed him. Then I asked again, "Am I free to go?" And he said, "Yeah." "Okay, officer, what a waste of your time." But I had actually told him, "What's your name? What's your name?" And then I was going to tell my mom too. And then he had shouted his name and number at me. And then I repeated it to my mom. I was like, "Remember that, remember that." Because honestly, I don't even remember what his name was now, just all the aggression, sadly. I always felt like if that officer was pulling over a black man instead, that situation would have been way worse. And after everything that's been going on, I feel like I've seen a lot of people saying that this isn't a racial issue, but it is. If it isn't, then why does it happen to this particular race so often? Trayvon Martin, who would have been around my age, was shot and killed by a security officer by so young, 17 years old. And that man, George Zimmerman, walked free. Sandra Bland also had the right to smoke in her car and not have her life ended. And if someone says they can't breathe, officer, you better figure it out and protect the people you are supposed to be protecting. Any man or woman that was found unarmed but ended up being killed, the cop or whoever was responsible for that killing should right away be charged with murder, period. No question about it. Cops have the privilege to pull over whoever they want, whenever they want, question anybody they'd like. They're also able to run past stoplights as soon as they turn on their sirens. And I believe that all citizens deserve justice and respect. It's just been known that cops in the US use their guns way more than in other countries. This sort of educational meme is what I want to call it, surfaced that shows the different police trainings that are required in different countries and how quick someone in America can become a police officer. Just how simple it is to have that badge and that privilege over others. Snopes had gone ahead and fact-checked that meme and found that all of the things said about the Nordic countries are true. They had only a few killings from 2002 around there to 2018 when that article was published. You guys know me if you watch my Let's Talk About Drugs series. I'm going to go ahead and link my sources below, of course. So then I went ahead and while I was doing my research, found that on correctionalofficer.org. Becoming a police officer has very simple and minimum requirements. First, you just have to be a citizen, be physically fit and strong. Background investigation. It's also just required that the cops obtain a degree, some type of degree. Could be in criminal justice, whatever. And then they just complete academy and apply for a position. It's fairly simple to become a cop. So as far as education goes, they just require a GED or high school diploma. And the degree is, as I mentioned, only recommended, not required. So my thought on this is that law enforcement should have at least 2 years of training and take mandatory psychology classes. It's very reasonable that cops should be enrolled in psychology classes before they are out there on our streets, so that way they can learn about human behavior and how they should react before they actually take action. In the end, I know that I'm just another person explaining why myself and others are angry. But it's 2020 and we need to just see more justice for our citizens. Regarding police brutality, of course you know, drugs. Treating any kind of drug addiction as a health issue rather than a crime. But that's another conversation for another day. Thank you very much for staying until the end of the video if you actually did decide to watch it all the way. And my deepest sorrows and condolences to any of George Floyd's family and loved ones. His name will be remembered by many. Make sure you go out there and raise awareness. There's always something you can do to help. Other than that, bye guys.